All right. First and foremost, give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rokakwadash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone who rule well and who is worthy to be counted for double honors. Peace and salutations to you brothers out there pushing this truth wholeheartedly and sincerely and for love of the gospel. It's the brother Gabar here from the Indiana camp, coming back at you again with another sit down. All right, another installment to the etymology of words. And right now I have the word technocracy. All right, it's a word that, brothers should been familiar with. You've been hearing it for, a little over a month, which the word dates all the way back to the 1920s. So you might have heard it earlier, but, the word technocracy goes into, saying the control of society or the economy by technical experts, so what, your doctors, your lawyers, your billionaires, smarter people. Matter of fact, I looked up in ChatGPT and asked, hold on, you're not going to be able to see it because I have, how am I recording it? I'm recording on my Windows, but chat is popping up somewhere else, so you're not going to be able to see it. So you're just going to have to take my word for it. Okay, I did have something popped up, but I guess chat got rid of it. I don't know what the fuck why. All right, I'm gonna just type the prompt back in. Ain't that something I want to mess up when I'm... All right, hold on. Let me reset it right quick because it want to mess up right when I start recording. All right, so the prompt I asked chat is, I said, would a technocracy be good for the world? It said, basically, let's break it down. It says, the short answer, it could help in some areas, but it would be good for the world. It by itself, it has real strength and serious risk. All right, so first it goes into, it says, what's a technocracy in practice? It says a technocracy is a system where experts, scientists, engineers, economists, and doctors make decisions instead of politicians, or popular vote on the idea of people who understand the system should run the system. All right, so right now, so basically it's the idea of technocracy versus democracy, which the United States is a democracy, which a democracy is ruled by the people instead of one king. That's why if you've seen a few months back, people were saying Trump is not a king. Basically the United States is a democracy, not a king dictatorship. All right. It says it says energy policies run by energy scientists, health policies run by doctors, infrastructures run by engineers. So basically the people who are skilled and knowledgeable about those certain fields, those will be the people who will run the health, like the healthcare would be ran by doctors, the energy policies would be ran by the engineer scientists, the infrastructures would be ran by the engineers, and the construction workers, the ones that's out there doing it because they understand it the most. That's basically what the technocracy in a whole senses is. It's it's a way, if you think about it, is a way actually taking power from you, which we're not in a democracy, even though fucking United States claim that they're in a democracy. It's really what the fucking wicked elites call. It's their call. The wicked elites of this world. The top echelons. Your Oppenheimers, DuPonts. Gettysburgs. All those rich banking families. The ones that you don't hear about. Those are the ones who has the final call of what's gonna happen. You see, they give you an illusion of that. They give you an illusion of freedom, or they give you an illusion of of a democracy. But really, to be honest, is they have the final call. They elect the presidents. They elect how much the money is worth. They elect what's going to go up and what's going to go down. You know, all the decision is ran by them. You know, they have the final say so. You see? So really, to be honest, right now they're just trying to basically fortify it. You know, they're trying to bring the hammer down even harder. You see? It says where technocracy would shine. It says evidence-based decisions. It says less ideology, more data, climate change, pandemics, infrastructure, energy grids. This is an expert territory. Long-term plans. Experts are more likely to think in decades, not election cycles. Better for sustainability, public health, and big system. You know, and this is what they're going to be using to gear these people towards that, especially when they bring out they CHIP. You know, when they bring out, you know, the data, the information, and telling people, you know, they're going to paint a picture as if it was a good thing. You know, oh, you never have to lose your wallet. It's going to have all your data on it. If you're unconscious and we don't know what's wrong, all we have to do is just scan it and we can bring up your health your health your medical records. You know, you don't have to keep up with all these paperworks and stuff. You know, all your information is going to be on it. You know, matter of fact, just a few days ago at work, I actually had to call 911. I had to call the ambulance for a client that I had, and they were asking me, did I have any type of health records or basically a syllabus of medications, things he's allergic to. You know, when's the last time he got a checkup and all the extra stuff. And it took me a little minute to find it. Just imagine if, you know, he had a device implanted in him where they didn't need to ask me that. All they had to do was scan it with something and everything just pops up, you know, or take him to the house. They can just come grab him, take him to the hospital, scan that, and his name, his birth certificate, everything. And I had to write some of this stuff down too, you know. Now this would be considered a hassle for some people, you know, especially if it's a loved one. You know, they have to, you know, they want to hurry up and get to the hospital. Where you can have all that information on basically on the right anywhere in your body where they can just scan it and bring it up. That seems beneficial and that seems convenient for a lot of people. So what it's gonna gear the masses, majority of these people to push forth into this new world order, into this new system, you know, because the current system he's showing is to be outdated. You see, matter of fact, let's go ahead. I'm gonna stop right there. I'm gonna come back to that chat, but I'm gonna stop right there and I'm gonna get Revelations 13. You already know where I'm going. I'm gonna start from 11, but I'm gonna read in the amplified version. This is Revelation chapter 13 verse 11. It says, then I saw another beast rising up out of the earth and had two horns like a lamb and spoke as a dragon. Now we understand that what this is America, you know, having the two horns, which represents the right and the left. You know, back then in the Roman, it was the plebiscites and the patricians, but now we have the Democrats and the Republican. But then they spoke like a dragon, which wasn't with those draconian laws that they're gonna push forth. You see, verse 12, it says he exercises all the authority of the first beast in his presence, which is with the Roman Empire. It says when the two are together, it says, and he make the earth and those who inhabit worship the first beast, whom deadly wound was healed. Right, man. So what they which is what America coming back, which is what America was that deadly wound being healed. You see, verse 13, he says he performed great signs. It says even making fire fall from the skies to the earth right before the people's eyes, which is what the thermonuclear missiles. You know, Esau was the first person who invented the thermonuclear missile. What, when he bombed, you know, Hiroshima and Nagasaki with that, you know, it seemed like he was able to call fire down from heaven, which really, to be honest, it was the Lord giving him that power to do so, you know. But what, he did it through Esau, all right? And that for a time he was feared. Esau was feared because he was the only one with that capability, the nuclear bomb. You see, verse 14, it says, and he deceived those. It says, and he deceived. I'm gonna read this in the KJV because I just like the way it sounds. Oh no, I'm gonna read it in the Amplified. It says, and he deceived those who inhabit the earth. It says, in believing in him because of the signs which he is given by Satan to perform in the presence of the first beast, telling it says, telling those who inhabit the earth to make an image to the beast who was wounded fatally by the sword and has came back to life, which basically what it says in King James, it says, and deceive them that dwell upon the earth by the means of the miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. So what these miracles that he's going to be seeing, he's going to use to deceive these people. All right. And like I always say, man, Esau's going to come with that deception before he's just going to be like, you know what, fuck it. You're going to have to get it. Now he's going to make it mandatory for you to get it. Or if you don't, then guess what? You're just going to be ostracized in society. You're not going to be able to buy. You're not going to be able to sell. You're not going to be able to function in the so-called new world. So what? He's going to deceive the masses, and then he's going to force you to do it. So if you don't want to get it, then guess what? You ain't going to eat. You can't go to work. You can't make no money. You're going to be a bum. You ain't even going to be a bum because you can't even beg. If you beg for something, you got to beg for actual material food because you ain't going to be able to buy it. Tangible money is gonna be a thing of the past. There's not gonna be no such thing as a dollar or a penny or a quarter or some loose change. All that's gonna go away. Everybody's gonna have that implication it put up in them. You see, who's gonna have their banking information, which is gonna have their credit score, which is gonna have all their income. Verse 15 it says, and he is given power. It says, and he is given power to give breath unto the image of the beast, so that the image of the beast will even appear to speak. It says, and cause those who do not bow down and worship the image of the beast to be put to death. You see, because you have to worship. You're gonna have to basically get down with this system. If you don't seem like you want to get down with his program, then guess what? He's gonna eradicate you. He's gonna do away with you. So a lot of these people is gonna have to get on his program, get on his agenda. You see, but what the Lord? That's where the Lord's gonna come in and basically intercept. What the scripture says right before he's filled his belly, he's gonna cast a fury upon him. He shall be in straits while he is eating. When this man, when Esau really begins to start cooking, that's when the Lord is going to make it even more difficult for him. And right before Esau seals up everything, that's when the Lord is going to come, and redeem his people first. You see, verse 16, it says also he compelled all. Oh man, he compelled all, the small and the great, the rich and the poor, and the free man and the slave, to be given a mark on their right hand or in their forehead, significant allegiance to the beast. You see, so that mark is a physical mark. You see, it says it's the size of a grain of rice. It can go anywhere in your body, your fingertip, your forehead, your right arm, your left arm, your shoulder, your back, wherever you decide to put it. You're gonna get it implemented in your body, and what? That's the sign of what? Signifying allegiance to the beast. That's what it signifies as. That you want to get down with this man's program, all right? That you completely trust, that you put your life on the line for this guy. You see, verse 17, it says that no man will be able to buy or sell except the ones who has the mark, either the name of the beast or the number of his name. You see? So what? You're not going to be able to function in society. You're not going to be able to buy, sell, resell, stock up, work. You're not going to be able to be in this technocracy, in this new world that he's trying to build up, unless you have that mark. You see? And guess what? He's going to use your scientists. He's going to use your influencers. He's going to use what? The experts, the technical experts, to tell you, hey, this is the way we're going. This is the most logical way. What's the dude off of what's that guy? Spock off of fucking Star Trek. That is not logical. it's a saying. It's a saying. The fucking the character off of Star Trek. He's supposed to be this logical he doesn't do anything that's illogical. And if the Captain Kirk does something illogical, he'll tell Captain Kirk that is not logical. Basically saying that's not, that you shouldn't do that. That's not the wise thing to do. So that is not logical. So basically what these experts are going to tell you, that, listen, this is the most logical way to conduct society. Why do you think so much stuff is being pushed to cryptocurrency? All right, things is going digital. Aren't they getting rid of the penny this year? Next is going to be what the next is probably going to be the dime, and then it's going to be the quarter, and then it's going to be money in general. You see, all this isn't by happen chance. This is all to gear towards that what MOTB, that's what it's all gearing towards. You see, and those who take it, you're basically pledging your dying allegiance to this place, which I didn't even know, which I found out a couple days ago. When you're an immigrant, when you're a so-called immigrant, a person who's not born in America, and you come over here, and you get your citizenship legally, you actually have to say an oath. Let me see something right quick. Let me see. Can I pull up the oath? Oath of allegiance. Let me see. Can it pops up? Yep, here it is. It says the U.S. oath of allegiance requires neutralizing citizens to renounce foreign allegiance, pledge loyalty to the United States Constitution and laws, and commit to defend the nation, bearing arms and performing public service, which when required. You see? So what this is, instead of you actually having to say an oath, this is gonna be actually physically you getting that the MOTB. You see? Getting that MOTB, getting that mark is gonna be basically you taking an oath of allegiance. Renouncing foreign allegiance, pledging loyalty to the United States Constitution and laws. You see? So what you getting that mark is what signifying allegiance to the beast. That's why what the Lord told us not to get it, not to partake in it. Now let's read. Let's gonna see what happened to those who actually takes that mark, who actually takes that C-hip. Matter of fact, I might actually change this video because I was supposed to be talking about technocracy, which it all goes into it. It all ties into it, So I might just leave it alone. There's a 2010 says the devil that deceived them was cast. Hold on, let me go up a little bit. I don't think that was it. Let me go back. Slakia, bear with me. But fear and unbelief, abominations, murder, whoremongers, and adulterers. Here it is. It was 19. I figured it was 19. I just wanted to reassure. This is Revelation chapter 19 verse 20. It says, I'm reading the Amplified. No, I'm reading the King James, and then I'm reading the Amplified because I like how King James say it. It says, but the beast was taken, and with him the false prophets, the Roman Catholic Church, that brought miracles before them, which it says, in which he deceived them that had received the mark of the beast. You see? So those who receive that mark, those who pledge their dying allegiance to this place, what? And them that worshipped his image, These both were cast alive into the lake of fire, burning with brimstones, that ICBM missile fire that is coming over here to America. So if you're found on the grounds of America with that MOTB in you, then you're going to have your part in the lake of fire. You see? But I like it in this because it says, he that deceived them that received the mark. So a lot of these people are going to be deceived. They're going to be tricked, bamboozled, speckled dwarf, inside joke. But, they're going to be basically tricked into getting this, man. They're going to be like, oh, no, we didn't know. But guess what? The Lord has sent his men out there on the street corners telling you for 60 plus years now. 60 plus years, the Lord has been sending men out there telling you what not to do. Don't take the mark. Don't do this. So it ain't going to be no, oh, I didn't know. Or we wasn't warned. Best believe if you take that, man, you're going to have your part in the lake of fire. You see? Let me read this Amplified, see what it says. It says, and the beast, Antichrist, was sieged and overpowered, and with him the false prophet, who in his presence had performed amazing signs, by which he deceived those who had received the mark of the beast and those who worshipped his image. These two were hurled alive into the lake of fire, which blazed with brimstone. I mean, basically the same thing, So let's get back to chat and see what his chat say. All right, the next segment, it says where technocracy gets dangerous. It says, who chooses the experts? Experts are still humans. They have basic incentives and blind spots. Which this is actually a good point. It says what? It says where technocracies get dangerous. Who chooses the experts? Right? Who grants you the expert of a certain field? That's why I said it all boils down to what the elites say. Even in the technocracy, the elites are still going to have the final say so in certain things. Right now, they're just going to solidify it with the MOTB. Oh, you don't do what we say, then we're just going to turn it off. They're going to have your locate. They're going to be able to locate you. Oh, it ain't going to be no such thing as you escaping from prison and you somewhere in Nicaragua, living your life. Well, no, they can track you as far as you come. Or matter of fact, they can just shut off your chip. They don't even need to come get you. Because you're not going to be able to buy and sell. The scripture says buy and sell. So how are you even going to get over there? Where are you going to get your goods from? You're not going to be able to take money, take $1 million in the bank and go change it into the yen and live in China. You're not going to be able to do that because the whole entire world is going to be ran off that the C-HIP. You see, the MOTB, the whole entire world is going to be ran like that. Scripture says small and great, rich and poor. Everybody is going to have it, So it's not going to be no such thing as you living a low lifestyle or up under off the grid is what that's what the saying I was looking for. You ain't going to be able to live off the grid, It says power without accountability gets ugly fast. Democracy gets weakened. People lose to direct voices. Politicians might be efficient but feel inhuman. If people feel ruled over instead of represented, unrest. Experts can be wrong. History is full of scientific counselors that later collapsed. Engineers force sterilization under experts, often backed by experts. Basically experts can clash and have different ideologies. Values versus data. Scientists can tell us what works. It cannot tell us what is right. Moral questions, justice, freedom, diligence. It says needs human input, not just molded. Best version, realistic. It says most stable societies also uses a hybrid system. Democracy for legitimate and values, technocracy for executing and experts. In other words, people choose the direction, experts choose the method. I'm gonna skip down a little bit. Okay, well, no, I have one more segment. One more, it says big picture takes. It says a pure technocracy, efficient, yes. Stability, no. Humanity, no. The guide technocracy, it's inside a democracy framework, much safer, more realistic. Already, the decisions made. Already, the directions, like it's kind of dark a little bit. I can't really see it. Already the directions many countries are drifting towards. See, I didn't even know it said this. Already the directions of many countries drifting towards, so there's a lot of the countries that's already moving towards a technocracy or a hybrid between both, but we understand when we read about a technocracy, it's really to implement the MOTB, it's really to push forward to that new world order. All right. And a lot of you people who take that, a lot of people who wants to get down with that system, you're going to be bamboozled and fooled. And you're going to ultimately have your part in the lake of fire. You see? This is Isaiah chapter 36, verse 6. I'm going to read it in the Amplified. It says, listen carefully. You rely on the staff of a broken reed, Egypt, which will pierce the hand of any man who lean on it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all who rely on him. But if you say to me, we trust in and rely on the Lord our God, is it not he whose high places and whose altar Hezekiah has taken away, saying to Judah, I'm reading the King James because it's cool, but King James says it a little better. Starting back at verse 6, it says, lo, thou trustest in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, it will go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, to all that trust in him. Right, man. So what? Egypt will be what symbolized as America today, and Pharaoh will be the president. So a lot of you people are gonna lean, on the president when he implements this MOTB, or when he implements this new world order. A lot of you people are gonna lean on it and rely on it, saying, oh yeah, this is the way to go. This is making America great again. This is gonna be, the world we look for. But ultimately, what? It's gonna go into your hand and pierce it. So it's gonna do more harm than good, especially for our people, where America was supposed to be a place of our captivity. But you have a lot of our people who look at this place as salvation, as their home. A lot of our people would die for America. You see? So the Lord is coming to do away with those. Do away with our people who pledges their allegiance to Esau Edom, to Pharaoh. But who do we trust in? We trust in the Lord our God. That's why when the MOTB's offers up to us, we're going to reject it. All the way into death. Scripture says, be faithful unto death, and the Lord shall give you a crown of life. So we're going to reject it all the way until it's time for us to be offered up. If we be offered up, because the scripture says some shall not taste of death. But if it is your time, if you have to be set up as a martyr, then so be it. And the last one I'm going to get in, I'm going to close it up after this. This is Sirach chapter 12 and verse 10. This is the GNT. It says, never trust an enemy. It says his wickedness is as destructive as rust. Watch out and be on guard against him. Even if he acts ever so humble, he is like a metal mirror that rusteth away if you don't keep it polished. You see? So it's inevitable for metal to rust. And that's exactly how this wicked, an enemy, Esau Edom, is going to be. It's inevitable that his wickedness is going to show. Whether you cover it up or whether you wipe it away or whether you keep it shine, guess what? That rust is always going to come. So guess what? His Esau's wickedness is going to show forth one way or another. You see? So you should always beware of this man. And the scriptures goes on, you don't even supposed to set him by you, because he's always looking for a way to overthrow you. He's always looking for your downfall. So even if he seems like he's trying to do good by you, or he's for the people, what to say? Even if he acts ever so humble, what is Psalms the 10th chapter talks about? It says, though he go crouching, though he humble himself, he lies and wait for the poor. He doth catch the poor, you know? So it's all a tactic. It's all a ruse to lead to reel you in. And once you're getting close enough, he attacks or he strikes, you know? The scriptures calls this man a serpent, you know? Now the serpent has an actual snake. It will actually let a easy prey go by it will actually wait for easy prey to go by until it has a 100% chance of striking the next prey, you know, which I forgot the accuracy of a snake. I think it's like 96, 97 maybe of a success rate when it strikes. So the snake, its instinct is to basically sit and lie. And another thing is, snakes doesn't have eyelids, so they can never blink. So everything that this man sees everything, and this man he sits and he waits carefully, you know, until the perfect time, and then he strikes. You see? So that's the video, man. I'm still in betwixt the two, you know. I'm gonna go ahead and still name it. You know, it's still gonna be an etymology of words, which I really got into the MOTB a lot. But like I said, the word technocracy goes into it. You know, that's the world we're pushing towards. That's the world that we're gearing for, you know. So may the Lord be with you all, you know. Until next time, Lord, I hope this video was edifying for you brothers out there. Until next time, shalom.